Hey everybody, how you doing? Jimmy V Live. Thank you for watching. We're going to have a good show. I always say that, but that's the way it works, right? So I just want you guys to know that this podcast is definitely going to be a place that my wife and I discovered many, many moons ago, and excellent place. And we just stumbled across it because we moved up to the area and we started looking at different places because we like to go to these different taverns, and we found it. And I can tell you, this place is phenomenal. Okay. You guys, I'm sure people out there have gone to this place, but with further ado, let me bring in the people because this is really good. I got Bob, the owner, Frank, and Danny is a chef, and I think Frank's been there many, many, many years. And I'm going to let these guys tell you exactly what we're talking about here. Let me bring in Bob. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Jamie, how are you, buddy?
Doing good. Let me bring in Frank and Danny. There they are. What's up, guys?
Hello. Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, you made it big time. You made it on Jimmy V Live. You see that? You're in.
I know. I'm in.
You're in.
Hard at work, too. Locked in the office.
Oh, yeah. And then let me show everybody where I'm talking about. See? Shucks Tavern and Oyster Bar. There's 2 locations, so everybody knows. It's on 7155 Durango, and there's the phone number, and 9338 West Flamingo. So we have on the west side, northwest, southwest. And, I'll let them talk about everything with the business, how it started, how they, got to work with each other and know each other. And, we'll play it as we go. Go ahead, Bob. Take it over.
Good. Well, I enjoyed your lead-in music there, Jimmy, but I'm kind of thinking maybe you should think about changing it to the theme for Goodfellas, because it's just, you're the Joe Pesci. You're the Joe Pesci of the food world, in my opinion.
There you go. And hey, look, guys, didn't I tell you who's going to be the first one? Look at that. There he is. There he is. The man of the hour, huh? The inaugural king there of Jimmy V Live. There he is. How you doing, Eric? Everyone says hello to you, buddy.
Everyone says hello to Eric. Eric, another longtime employee, just like I've had Frank and Danny for many, many, many years. Blessed to have them. This is the year. This is our 20th anniversary year. Obviously, in the restaurant business, we've all had our struggles with the pandemic and the closures and the openings and back and forth, but we're still here. And because of these guys, we have extremely loyal customers. They order on the phone, they do the curbside for us, they're coming in, we're at 50% capacity. And right now, knock on wood, sales have been great. Lord knows what's going to happen coming down here the next couple of weeks, but a real shout out to my customers, because I see them 2-3 times a week. Sometimes these guys see them 7 nights a week, and sitting at the bar, gaming, having seafood, which is I think it's a unique fare for the tavern industry, and we've enjoyed serving that for the last 20 years.
That's phenomenal, because if it wasn't a good place, people know I wouldn't go. That's for sure. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're a foodie for sure.
Yeah, you got it. So Frank, Danny, tell us about your guys' experience, how you came about it, and how you found Bob and all that good stuff.
Oh, well, I worked with Bob and Steve at the Tillerman over 20 years ago, and when they sold the Tillerman, they hired me on board to develop this concept, Shucks Tavern. And I've been with them 20 plus years from the beginning. Yeah.
Excellent. How about you, Danny?
Well, it's very, very long story, but let me do a little shortcut in there. I used to work for Outback, and he was a kitchen manager over there. So he brought me over here because I know him, and I really love to working with this guy because he always take care of me. And then I met Bob and Steve and pretty much Frank long time ago. And they like to take care of people, That's my experience.
And that's what's good. And it shows, because you can see when you walk into the place, everybody's very respectful. The food is good. Food is great, not good. Okay. It's clean. Of course, everybody knows I know that, right? You follow all the health codes. Everything is really good. and you guys are into what you do. Okay. And that's the key because, I go to a lot of places all over the place for what I do, but I can also observe what everybody does, besides the health code. You got to look at things where everybody comes into play. Right. So I'm looking at things and as I'm looking at it, I'm saying, well, look at this. They really care about what they do. They really care about what goes on the plate. You know what I mean? And that's what matters. And they care about the customers because it's all about repeat, correct? Is what you want. You want the repeat customers, and that's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference. I mean, when you have all that and you put it together, whether you're in the bar, I mean, how long are your bartenders there? I mean, you got long-time bartenders, don't you?
We've got some that have been with us over 20 years. Karina's been with us. Kara's been with us since day one at the location on Flamingo. Good people, solid families, watch their kids grow up. I mean, we're looking at grandkids now. It's just a whole generation of employees. And like I said, it's a great place to work. We treat our employees fairly. They make money. They do well. They would go somewhere else if they didn't, whether they liked me or they like Frank or Danny or not.
Right.
And it's a family atmosphere. It's a cheers atmosphere. People know us when they come in. They ask for things that are not on the menu. Frank makes it all the time for them. Danny makes it for them all the time. So we've got a lot of, we're in a good spot, and it's been a great 20 years. Hopefully there'll be 20 more.
Oh yeah, for sure. It will be. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know what I wanted to ask you guys? You guys mentioned the Tillerman, okay, way back when, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, was this the 90s, the late 90s?
The early 80s. The early 80s.
Wow.
Late 80s, early 80s, yeah.
Oh, okay.
When I first moved to town, in 1980. That's how long I've been here. I've been here 40 years. I met Steve in 1980. He's my current business partner. So we go back just as far as the day that I moved here. The Tillerman hired me as a bus person because I didn't have enough. Getting a waiter's job back in those days was hard, which is what I was already doing. I waited tables in seafood restaurants. And then Steve was the bar manager. I was a waiter after that. Then we opened up the new one on Flamingo, which was 1982. It was a beautiful building, had the roof that opened and all the ficus trees. And back then, it was all seafood. And customers would come in and say, how do you get all this seafood? You're in the middle of the desert. We've been hearing that every day since I moved here. Right. So we have a lot of experience in seafood. And Tillerman sold in 1997. Steve and I went ahead and got into the gaming portion of the business and decided we'd like to open up a seafood tavern, not fine dining anymore. We were done with that, but like a fine dining feel for our food and not necessarily the expense and the pressure the pressure you have for fine dining. We like it nice and casual. So
and that's what matters. That's what matters. Now, Frank, when you started up, what did you do for Bob when you first came into the Shucks world? What did you do?
When I first came on, I was the chef, kitchen manager, and actually helped develop the recipes that are on our menu today.
So you got both sides of the fence.
Right, and then I just worked my way up through management to the assistant manager, and then Danny took over as kitchen manager. But it's very humble beginnings, When we first opened up, we had high gloss disposables like you would see at, say, Baja Fresh, or maybe like a Wahoo's type of a concept we were looking for, and that's not what the customer wanted. The customer wanted service. They didn't want a cashier. So basically it was a Baja Fresh with a video poker bar. And then the customers wanted more, and then that's when we started serving the people. And then we got rid of the high gloss disposable containers, and we went to regular china, and the rest is history. And we keep reinventing ourselves as we go.
Yeah, and we got some nice pictures of the food a little later to show everybody as well. Yeah. Yes, and we will get into that. But more of the history and all that which is great, because I know we're not covering your other restaurant chain today, but we're going to do it on another podcast. But you also own the Montanas. So
Yes.
that's part, and we'll do another show on that. So, this organization is well-rounded, and, we all went through something very hard recently. Okay. Everybody in town, we all know that. And we went
Yeah.
through the pandemic. Okay. We're still going through it. And, we're probably going to face more stuff coming up, which we know. And I've always been outspoken about it, and it is what it is. But when you guys went through it, I mean, I know, but when you guys went through it, so everybody out there can know, because they can understand, did you guys find it hard to obtain product from the vendors during the pandemic? Did you guys find that hard as well?
Yeah, it's actually still hard because production is way down, and restaurants are continuously closed, as are the casinos. A lot of times the casinos would bring in seafood in bulk, and then we would get seafood the same way. And it's the same with alcohol and in beer even. I mean, we had problems getting Coors Light, having problems getting Patron, because production is way down. So when they closed us early in March, and they had to, no one knew what was going on, and everybody was pretty afraid. Right in the middle of the month, right at peak inventory, the whole thing could not have been the worst time to close. But there never is a good time. And then we lasted 2.5 months. We opened up June 4th. With limited gaming, 50%, and man, we were just jumping for a while. They closed us again on July 10th, and they said, "Hey, and we did all the procedures. We've got the sanitation. We're paying the extra labor. We're wiping down stuff. We've got plexiglass in between all the games. Tables are spaced. Minimum parties of 6. But the directives that come down from the governor sometimes they get a little crazy, because everyone underneath them doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, licensing, OSHA, health department, and they're not all on the same page. So we're getting these badges thrown at us left and right, and we passed every time. And when they closed us for the second time, we're kind of like, well, why did they do that? Now we're having a surge going into the winter that I think everybody pretty much expected.
Yeah, exactly. They expected that. And one good news is that there's several of those vaccines that are out there, so that is good news. Okay. From what I read this morning on that is that they're going to give it to the people who have the underlying conditions first. So that general population first. And they say that April, May is probably when, it's going to be ready for distribution to all us regular folks. You know what I mean? But, it all depends on, one of them is better than the other, but they're all going to get more perfected as time goes on. We know that. And we're probably, even when that enrolls, we're probably still going to have mandates, whether it's political or not. When we get to the medical side of it, hey, we're all going to use our, all our protection. We're all going to do that. We're not going to stop. We can do whatever social distancing. Like you guys have never gone off it. What got you a little, and a lot of people were affected by this, was you had we had agencies not speaking to one another, where one comes in and says, I got the, I was told to do this. They come in, and then I was told to do that, but then no one spoke to the local health department. And I'm just glad I got to, and now they speak with each other. So it's good that they've got that done. But, it was hard for a lot of people at that time, because you didn't know what was going down, and that's what happened.
Everybody wants to comply when you're told exactly what it is you're supposed to do. But when it's from 3 different factions and they're not talking to each other, it gets very, very confusing, not only to us, our employees, but also our customers. And it just gets really, really weary. And I called you on the hand sinks. I said, hey, they told us to turn off the hand sinks. I said, you can't do that. And then you called your guys, and then that got fixed in a day. But right at the beginning, it was all over the web. It was like turning off the hand sinks. Everyone has to wash their hands.
Right.
That's silly. Where are we going with this, right?
Right. And we all spoke about it. We all said, you know what, here it is. We know that they really, the other, organizations, whether it's Nevada OSHA or it's business license and all, all respect to them, they get the mandate, go out and inspect and go out and take care of this. But no one thought of, hey, wait a second, health department, are we doing the right thing? Until after the fact, before they started speaking. And there was a lot of people out there going through that.
There was no blueprint, they just threw all these people in, and they were trying to keep their jobs too. And they were just scrambling and trying to do these inspections, where when gaming control came in, I was actually educating them about what we were doing.
Right.
with our
Right.
sanitation and sanitation station and things like that.
No,
And being
it's
able
true.
to use our glassware as opposed to using the plastic, because we use quad, and quad kills the virus. And
That was another one.
Yeah, that was another one.
Plastic. Yeah, or a full service restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, in a steakhouse, I'm gonna serve on a paper plate. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
I want to cut a steak with a paper knife, with the plastic knife there, it works
Yeah.
well. I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I told you, I don't know if Frank didn't know this, but I had a place out there that they're just a bar. Okay. All there is a bar. Okay. And technically, I always say this, technically the rule is, food is beverage in the health code. So nobody's really in violation with the health code, but whatever mandate was set forth, they walk in, one of the governing agencies walk into this place and say, no, you can't operate because you don't sell food. Well, we're not supposed to operate because we're a bar. Well, no, you cannot have gaming. You can't do this unless you serve deli sandwiches. Wait a second. We don't have prep tables. We don't have this kind of equipment. Well, you need to get it. And they made a menu for them. So I had to make another phone call because nobody, at that time was getting the right directive. Just like you said, Frank, no blueprint, And we're going to run into that again. I see. I think we're going to run into that again. I hope, but the way it looks is the way it happened the last time, guys. Remember, once, California or Washington takes the lead on closing things down, it seems like this state goes the same route because they're all in that same, what do they call that, Bob? The West Coast Coalition or something?
With the Democratic governors.
Yeah, just all of them. I mean, but I there's a term for that, and whatever they do here. Now the governor here caught COVID-19. I mean, hey, it can happen to anybody. You know what I mean? And and I'm seeing a lot of people. What was the original? Here was what the original came down. The original came down that if you have no symptoms, do not get tested. Right? Okay.
Right.
Then it grew into, because everybody panics and you can't blame anybody. Everybody has risk assessment programs. Hey, we're gonna make sure that if people are sick, we're gonna have them sent anyway, whether they have symptoms or not, because we got asymptomatic, we have all this stuff, false negatives, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, people now, I'm getting this call a lot, and people are saying to me, well, we had one person actually tested positive. Okay. They're doing their quarantine. They've been restricted from work. They're not coming back, but we're sending everybody to get tested anyway. And you want to know something? I can't blame them. You know what I mean? But regardless what the rules are, and, I'm all about the statistic guy. I mean, you go to the Southern Nevada Health District website where it says COVID-19 and you go to the trends and all that. It does show an increase. Absolutely, it does. Okay. It shows the biggest increase is testing. Okay. Deaths have gone up a little bit, but not remarkably. I mean, cases have gone up. Absolutely. Okay. From what they were a month ago. As you mentioned, it's expected. I hope we get a grip on it. But I don't know what's going to happen, what may come down as far as how severe they're going to close everything down, because remember, you got gaming, you've got all different things that are associated with it. And look what happened to the economy when they closed everything down. They got to weigh it out. You know what I mean? What do? You close everything down and say goodbye, or do you close little things down, or maybe put a little curfew on it? Look at Florida. Okay, I don't know if you guys know that Florida is still wide open. Okay, they're very minimal restrictions. It's up to you if you want to do it. Cases have gone up, okay, but not remarkable yet, okay? But they're still open. They're still doing the same thing. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, I don't know the answer to that. But that's one place. I think next is Texas, I believe, that loosened up more, okay? And I think somebody up north more too. I don't know if it was Ohio. I forgot who it was. And then, right now, out of all the Western states, because it hasn't been changed yet, is kind of like us, right? We're still at the mentor. If this didn't go up, they were talking about raising the capacity. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then we got this, the surprise of do this, that, and the other thing. But everybody's got their theories, guys. You know, like things are going
Yeah.
to change after the 2 home Raider games. I mean, I hear it all. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just crazy. But the fact of the matter is, you guys survived the first one. Okay, the first wave, you did the right thing. Your customer service has not changed. Okay,
Thank you.
either from the pandemic till now, it's never going to change. Am I right? I mean,
yeah. We brought everybody back that we could a little bit at a time. We had limited hours. We weren't 24/7 anymore. The gaming was open. The gaming was closed. You know, and it was just, and then the games are on the bar. The games are off the bar. So we built all these cabinets because of that, you know, thing. And oh, I tell you, it's just been crazy. You know, going into March 1st, we were looking at things were going so well, not only for us, but for everybody in town. And it was just so sad to see it come to a skidding halt. I would assert that Las Vegas was the hottest city on the planet in the beginning of March. We had the Knights going full strength in the playoffs. You had the Raiders coming with the brand new stadium, concerts every night, entertainment everywhere. And when you walk through a casino today, it's so very sad. We got to get everybody back to work. We got to get them back to work safely for sure.
oh,
You know,
yeah.
it's just not the same town. And this town gets all the tourists. You know, we have all the tourists here, and some may assert that this virus was here maybe as early as November, because just the amount of tourism we had over the holidays, and people were getting sick and didn't know what it was, because we have 42 million tourists every year. You know?
Absolutely. And you know, a lot of people don't know this, and I know Bob don't mind me sharing this. You know, I wish I really had, when I was coming up the ranks wherever I've worked before, and forget about the government side of it, but I did work for different casinos and stuff. I can tell the world out there that the ownership of both, that's like it just came across from Eric, but the ownership that is involved in these organizations here are second to none. Okay, I mean, they have the same staff. They've stayed with their employees. I mean, they treat them like family. You know what I mean? And this is one thing you don't get to see a lot. You know, I'm sure there's others out there. I know there is, but you know, the fact of the matter is, I can tell everybody out there, it was great to see that. You know, the employees. Bob and I had a lot of conversations about it. You know, hey, I got to do this. I got to do that. They gave me their all. I got to give something back. And, you know, that's very hard to find genuine people. Am I right, Frank? I mean, you've been with those guys for a long time, right?
Yep. And I'm still here. And if it wasn't the way it is, I would have been somewhere else. You know, it's like a family.
And
it's like I'm
sure
right there.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, that's the key. You know, you got you got leadership that's second to none. You know, I wish everybody that doesn't do that takes that into consideration instead of laying 4,000 people off. You know, I won't get into that.
Right.
It's a whole nother story.
I've been working through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Huh?
I've been working ever since we shut down. We shut down and we started scrubbing walls and painting, and then we started doing curbside, and it was just the salary employees until we received our PPP loan, which we could bring a couple extra people in. But yeah, it was just our salary employees working 10 hours a day, one cook in the back, and me running the food and on the phones. But we made it work, and all our customers were super generous, especially in the beginning when it first shut down, and we were able to give them the Shucks food that they were craving.
They really were.
And that's what we're going to come getting into real soon. I'm going to throw some stuff up with what you serve. I want everyone to know what your menus are, what's on your menu, and it's important because you got your I mean, your bartenders, your long-time bartenders are back with you, you know, on all the restaurants, and that's the key because you guys are family. All right, so let everybody know what's on the menu, and I'll show the new pictures. What do you guys got on the menu?
We just had some. We did some more pictures for websites and for Facebook and things like that during the shutdown, and then before and after that, just to kind of being we're 24/7, so you don't get any shutdown time. So when we did have it, we got on some projects and we cleaned and we painted and we scrubbed and replaced things and. and all that. And then we also, towards the end, before we open, we took some more pictures of some of our menu items that I thought our fans would like to see, and anybody that doesn't know anything about us might want to come down and check us out. The lamb chops are huge. Lamb chops, even though we serve at both the steakhouse and Shucks Taverns, and all you do is cut them and salt and pepper them, and you have an appetizer and a full dinner. And Frank makes a great honey basil sauce that everybody goes crazy over, and that's a huge seller for us. And it's easy, quick, and it's easy to eat while you're playing on the bar as well. You know.
Absolutely.
What do you say about that, Frank?
That is our seafood Benedict. We also do a great breakfast. Breakfast starts from midnight to 1 p.m. every day. We have
these are all new items, right?
For breakfast also. What was that?
Are these new items or current items?
These are current.
Yeah, we've had these for a while.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. And this is what everybody needs to see, because it's really important so everybody can understand, what you guys do here.
There you go.
What's that, Danny?
Come on, Danny, it's your turn.
That is a Casino Royale for oyster lovers.
Oyster lovers.
Oysters from us.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
are these
garlic butter, Parmesan cheese, topped
There you
with
go.
crab meat on top of an oyster.
anyone who's watching is going to gain weight watching this? I'm telling you, it's so good. Okay.
It doesn't take much.
I know, right? You got to enjoy yourself there. Okay, what's that all about?
That's our Cajun jambalaya. It comes in our pasta category. Along with, we have a linguine and clams. We have a Cajun steak rigatoni also, and then also you can get the jambalaya served with white rice, the more traditional method if you don't like pasta.
Okay.
And that's a classic dish. That is steak and crab, of course, and that comes with the flat iron steak. That is the one steak that we use for different preparations, like our black and blue salad, our steak tacos, and then steak and crab, or you can just have the steak by itself. It's a really nice tender piece of meat.
Yeah, that flat iron's terrific. We sell a lot of those.
Excellent.
Snow crab bucket, that's part of our bucket list, where you can build your own bucket with snow crab, Dungeness crab, and then you can add your sides, which are corn, potatoes, garlic bread, andouille sausage. And this is the same snow crab that the casinos are getting. We get the same product that they're getting. It's just we're not serving it on a linen tablecloth with a maitre d' in a casino that you have to walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Yeah.
And you can get that 24/7. You can get eggs Benedict and an order of oysters at 4 a.m. if you wanted to.
Let me see. I make this a little bit bigger. There you go. I didn't even know I can do that, guys. See that? There you go. Hey, man. So
We're all learning.
what's this now?
That's tuna tartare. That's a
Okay.
fresh diced ahi tuna on a bed of seaweed salad topped with fresh avocado and crab meat. And then it's drizzled with the balsamic reduction, which you can't really see that with the picture.
Okay. I think that was it. Let me see.
It's one of my favorite lunch items.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean,
It's nice and light. It's healthy. Protein. Doesn't fill you up. And
Yeah.
it looks great every time we serve it.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. And then that is really good. And there's Sonia putting her 2 cents in, guys. See? She agrees with me there. See? All
Hi, Sonia.
family. It's great. I mean, the key of the whole thing is for everyone to know that you guys are out there,
Right.
and you got the different locations, you've got the great staff, then you get you're good, you're clean, you guys are dedicated, and that's the key. That's the key,
Mhm.
Now let me ask you guys, a lot of people may not know, but the design, people who haven't been there, the design of the restaurant when you walk in, I mean, you guys can sit there and watch the games, right? And you got the TVs. You know, you definitely guys are all pro, like this behind me, Golden Knights. You know, you're all Golden Knight fans, and you know, hey, it's great. And you know, and there's Raider fans too. Hey, it is what it is. Just don't be like me, a Jet fan. But you know, you know, hey, it is what it is, right? You know. But,
well, if we're going to talk about Jets and Giants, it would be a very, very short show for you, Jimmy.
Oh, well, at least you got a couple games in. My, forget it. You know,
we'd be signing off now.
Yeah,
well, the original design of the restaurant, you know, we always wanted to look like a seafood warehouse, something that you might see on the side of on a pier somewhere or seaside somewhere. And we always kid ourselves about the warehousey look, because one thing about a warehouse is it never really ever gets old. It just is old, right? So it just gets a little bit more classier and classier, a little bit more, dented and old and scratchy and all the things that a warehouse actually would. But inside's always clean and in good repair. We always have the TVs on with all the games and cold beers and cocktails and great service, and put the big tall ceilings in, 30, 40-foot ceilings to make it nice and airy for people. And it really, really worked out well for us. I like it. I like the concept. And it reminds me of one of the first seafood places I started at years ago when I was a waiter in Virginia Beach. I was right there next to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, and I could see it out the window all the way. It would disappear into the night. We served all the different seafood way back then, and I lived there for quite a while, and also Florida before coming out to Vegas in 1980. So I have a lot of experience in seafood. I love it. It's my favorite. And we hope to continue doing the same thing.
Yeah. TV's always work. Somebody made a comment here. TV's always work.
That's Jamie. He's my audio guy and my computer guy. And yeah, they always work until the power goes out. And then they're not meant to be turned off. It's just like the pandemic. You know, this stuff's not meant to be turned off. Computers, refrigeration, we got to keep it all running, otherwise you turn it off, it's never going to turn back on again.
Yeah, God, I remember that, man. Years ago when I did the Bellagio thing. You guys remember, like, I think it was April 2000 during Easter when the Bellagio lost its electric? Remember that? Well, it was 2 weeks out. I was like 2 weeks because they didn't build enough generators. And I remember when the electric went off and it came back on, nothing worked. So it can happen. It can happen. I know firsthand. Remember that. But no, it's good. And you know what? Everything that's going on now. Okay. I know that, us locals, and you, I know you don't only get locals, you get everybody from all over the place, but you got your regulars. But for people who come and visit here, go out. I mean, there's good stuff out there. There's a lot of taverns out here that have good food, good cooks, good chefs, good bartenders. I mean, it's not only about the strip for us. You know what I mean? And we've been here a long time, but you guys get people that come back. I know when I go to several places, I mean, you guys have repeat customers that are from different states. They come back when they come back they come back. Yeah. Because they know where it's good, and that's the key. I mean, you got to have things now throughout all your restaurants. I mean, you got Danny, who's a long time, or your other restaurants, you have guys that are the same for a long time too, correct? In the kitchens.
Oh yeah. Luis and has been with us, and Nacho's been with us for 4 years. I mean, all throughout the years, 15, 20 years. I forgive me for miscounting. It's been so long. I can't remember where I put my car keys anymore, but these guys have been with us for 20 years. Easy. And they're great people, great families, and they always do a great job for us. See them every day. I'm in my stores every day. Anything they need, they get. So,
and that's the key.
Keep this thing rolling,
Right. And you mentioned before, Frank, if someone asks Frank to make something special, Danny will do it. I know Luis would do it and all that. And that's what's key. And a lot of people aren't realize. I mean, there's restaurants out there, and you guys know this. This is what's on the menu. That's it. Just like you go to a store. If it's not out there, we don't have it. And we know that it's stocked somewhere, And
Right.
that's what people want to know. They can come in here. This is what we got in the menu, but maybe you want something different. If they can do it, they'll do it, right? I mean, if it's possible, you'll do it. And
Frank,
If
you
we
can
can
jump in
do it,
on
we'll
that.
do it.
You can jump in on that, Frank, and just tell them a little bit about how sometimes we spoil them just a little too much, you know? Right, Frank?
Right, and then they want some special treatment at Friday at 8 p.m. and you're going, okay, hold on. We're going to give you all the special treatment we can when we can, you know. But back on the regular customers, not only do we have the regular customers coming back, but we have their families that visit from out of town, you know.
Yeah,
And
right.
and they come in 2-3 times a year, and when they get here, what's the first thing they want to do? You know, Aunt Sally wants to go to Shucks because she hasn't been there
Right.
since last January. And yep,
Right.
yep, that's what they say. Or when people, or when our regulars go out of town and they land in McCarran, and what's the first thing they do? They show up at Shucks. Oh, we just
Right.
got back from Florida, you know, and we just had to stop by. We haven't even unloaded our suitcases yet, you know.
I got a
That's
great
fact.
story. I got a great story with
happens.
that. I was sitting at the picnic table, and it was one of the rare times that both Steve and I and our wives were there. We were there for an event. I'm trying to remember what the event was, and a lot of our regular customers were there in support of the event. So there we are. We're sitting there having a nice dinner, and we're finished our dinner, and this couple was sitting at the next table over from us, and someone told them that Steve and I were the owners of Shucks, and she handed me a note. And she kind of walked over and sat with her husband. And I went, oh my, she handed me a note. So what could this note be? And she wants to talk to you, but she's kind of a little embarrassed. So I said, okay. So I thought, well, maybe it might be maybe a complaint. I don't know. You always think different things. And it was a heartfelt note about how she's been coming in for 20 years, raised her family in there, and used to bring her mom in there. And she wrote the note because she was going to get too emotional. You know, she goes, I'm going to cry if I have to tell these guys this. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to hand it to them. And that's what she did. And then we all just gave her a big hug and everything. And her mom had since passed away, you know, but that's her place. That's her spot. And she knows Frank, and she knows all the bartenders and Danny. Remember that? Yeah. And that's all the hard work you do. All the hard work you do, you forget about stuff like that, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, and you know,
it rips your heart out, and you go, you know what? Now I know why I'm doing it.
yeah, and of course I'm in business with you, you know, with what I do for you, and that's fine. But how many years, me and Sonia, when we go to the Montana, sit in that one corner table, except for the pandemic, now that she's a teacher here at home with the little one, but how many years have we sat there, right?
Yeah.
And became regulars. I mean, and I see it, you know, and for many years before we started going together, and that's a funny story how that happened. Because at that time, Eric was the GM of that Montana at that time. And I remember, you know, things would happen here and there and you know, little things like updates, whatever. And it's funny, and I end up going to the Golden Knights practice arena, right? What's their place called?
International Arena.
Where they sell the uniforms in the practice. What's that called? The practice arena. Their store. Remember?
Yeah.
So I walk in there, and I walk in there, and who's there? There's Bob. So now we start talking about business. That's how it all started. But sees me every day. But it took us to go be at the Golden Knights. Remember that was amazing, you know. And that's what good people are all about, because you know it's good people, and you know good people are going to have good employees. Good employees are going to work for you hard. And, you know they're dedicated because they consider, like Frank said, their family. And then you got the good food. Okay. I mean, I even know that my attorney goes to you guys. So, I mean, everybody goes to, you know, that's why I called it the gem, because if you don't know about this place, it's here. It's in our valley, you know, and there are two great locations, and the other ones will have another cast on that because we want to focus on Shucks right now. But I can tell you, it's the same way in either of the restaurants, because you can ask any employee, they're going to tell you the same thing, you know, and it's not just a joke. you know, and I witnessed it, like I mentioned. But no, I mean, it's great. And, you know, when I go do my thing and I walk in, I see Danny in there in the kitchen, you know, or anybody in the restaurants, you can ask Danny if
Right.
I see anything, regardless, taken care of on the spot. You know, it doesn't matter. And then you can see them cooking. You can see that the people, when they're in the kitchens, how they communicate. You know what I mean? You could just tell that they're so into it, you know, and that's what's going to come out on the product side. You know, and
Right.
it's same thing in the bars. I mean, it's the same thing.
Right.
You know, you can have conversations, the bartenders with the guests. The guests are going to come back because they feel like home. It's a meeting place,
Right.
you know, and it's all different times. And you're 24 hours now, unless the governor changes it, right? But you're 24 hours.
24/7. Yeah, right now. We'll see what the next thing goes down the road here. You know, like I said, we've like everyone else has been closed twice. It's not fun when that happens. But we're gonna at minimum, if we have to shut it down to curbside or minimum hours, whatever, we do what we're told and we clean as we're supposed to.
Correct.
And hopefully they won't close the bar. They'll leave the bar open, maybe half capacity, I guess. I'm not quite sure. We have the plexiglass enough to make sure the people are safe and they're wearing their masks. They always don't want to wear their masks. And, you know, quite frankly, the employees getting a little weary and the customers are getting a little weary because this has been going on 8 months now.
Yeah.
You know, and then the numbers now, they're not showing very favorably towards us in our neighboring states, maybe even back east.
Yeah.
We got our fingers crossed. We're ordering appropriately. We haven't had any shortages on product. We've had no increases in pricing. A lot more to goes. A lot more to goes, and I get it. People want to eat our food at home, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. We're glad to bring it out to your car, or call in and make an order with us. It may end up coming back to that again, but like I said earlier, the loyalty of our customers has just been unbelievably great. And Frank, our food sales are just crazy right now, right? He works Friday nights.
Oh yeah, busiest night of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what else is it's not that it's a good thing, but it's an experience view. Now, it's an unfortunate and it's a positive, because it's unfortunate that you had to go through it one time, but it's a positive. Now you know what I mean? At the beginning of all this, we didn't even know if it was chemical warfare. I mean, we didn't know what was going on. We weren't getting any information. Everybody was going through the same thing. At least now there's a little bit of, like, using Frank's words before, blueprint of what to do. It's just going to be at different stages of what's going to happen, but you guys have been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what to do. And it's still going to be the same customer service. It's going to be the same quality. It's going to be the same dedication, and that's what's important.
I was worried about them. I was worried about my regulars, especially like my bar regulars and my food regulars. And I was saying to Frank, I said, Frank, our doors are locked. We're in here, we're cleaning, we're painting. I said, what happened to our flock? What happened to our people? They're just kind of walking around like zombies, No one knows where to go, where to eat, because it's such a habit to come see us,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I was worried about it there for a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then here, this is the best pool guy you ever want to know right here. Good, another good guy here. The best pool guy. If you need a pool guy, you got to go to Mike. He's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
He's a great guy. His business is he's far from the name of his business, Crazy Mike, but he is a great guy, and that's a good pool guy. And he told me that he goes to your places. You know what I mean? So it's amazing, because people have been around a long time, and the people that have been there understand what's good, what's quality. You get to repeat people, and that's what's good. It's dedicated to the industry. That's the key. And you know what? Bob, you were the first one that, not only when we were speaking about all this happening, you were even had concern about other taverns, whether it's competition. You're all in it together. Yeah, that's
we all know each other. We're all kind of from the same cloth. And I've had this conversation with you before. We don't really have a tavern association anymore. We're kind of a fractured bunch. Everybody has a little bit of something different going on, and it's all great. I mean, some have pool tables and dartboards, and others are just sports bars and maybe just sandwiches and burgers. We're doing full menus 24/7. Everyone thinks we're crazy for doing it, but we do it anyway. It's the segment is different. You've got tacos over here, and everyone's got their own thing. But you see how everyone's united when you go on certain websites on Facebook and you see all the concerns, and everybody knows everybody. It's a small knit group, and they enjoy what they do. They wouldn't be doing this if they weren't enjoying it. And it's a great business to be in, and it has been for. I've been doing this since I was 15 years old, so it's all I know, man.
And you guys on all the restaurants you have, when the Golden Knights play, it's great. You know what I mean? Everybody's together. You know,
crazy. It's crazy, and there's 80 games. It's not like the NFL where you only have it on a Sunday, a Monday, or a Thursday. There's games all the time, and the bars really benefited from that. And the team plays well, and that's great too.
And you know, we do have a home team now, and I know it's Eric's favorite team, and that's fine. They're much better than my team. Yeah, the Raiders. But you know what? The whole thing is no one really got to experience that home thing yet. Now with everything that's going on, there's a lot of establishments that are dedicated to that. And I know you guys are like NFL, don't matter what team. But the fact of the matter is nobody really got to focus. We got to all focus on the Golden Knights going all the way and this, that, and the other thing. We loved it. But nobody really got to say, okay, home with the Las Vegas Raiders. It's hard to say because it's Las Vegas got a football team now, and people in the stands. You know what I mean? It is definitely different sports without fans. You know, I mean, it's really different. You know, I'm a big boxing nut, and a couple big fights would just happen, and there's nobody there. I think it takes away a lot, you know?
It does. It's hard to watch, you know, and the cardboard people are, all that stuff, you know? It's
Florida
just like, right? You heard about the cardboard people that were at the Jet Stadium, right? You heard that one.
Oh, all the time.
They were losing again, so they all got up and threw themselves in the recycle bin.
Hey, look, I could say one thing, and I know Eric will laugh about this, okay? The Jets are the only team in the NFL that their mascot quit. Fireman Ed, gone. But I gotta love them.
Yeah. Yeah, you stick by your team no matter what, you know?
Yeah, it is what it is. But we all love, Raiders. Hey, you know what? They're doing very good. They're doing very good. 6-3. They're the only ones to beat the champs this year so far, right? They beat the Chiefs. And this week they're home, right, against the Chiefs. Am I right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and last week.
Yeah. So, and the rivalry's always been the Broncos. Well, now they're gonna sit there and play the Chiefs here. And they beat him there. So, yeah, you know what? It's a good team. Everyone said Gruden needed a year or two. So we'll see what happens. You never know.
Money. Yeah, David Carr is playing well right now. A lot of people don't have him. Anybody has him on their fantasy knows he's doing pretty well. So he's been playing very well this year. Team's turning things around defensively too. Yeah.
Yeah, and from what I've been following, because this year I really haven't been following as much. I mean, I'll know the scores, and I'm a sports fan, so I'll watch it. A couple things here and there because there's so much going on right now. But I think what, Ben Roethlisberger's team looks pretty good too. I mean, it's crazy.
They're 9-0. Yeah.
And and what's really funny is, and you guys will laugh at this because you guys like football too. I saw Antonio Brown getting in trouble again. He broke some security camera or something, and what's wrong with him? Yeah,
this week? I didn't read that.
And he's on Tampa with Brady. It's all so different. I can't believe Brady's not in a New England uniform. It's just everything is so different right now. But hey, I enjoy everything though. But what I want to do is I want to bring in your pictures again. You know what I mean? I want to do that again. So you guys, because some people are, they join us late, and I just want to make sure that they're going to see your pictures again, because it's very important that they see that, and then you guys can go through it again. Because some people, I know people joined us late. So let me get this back on here. Hey, look at that! I did it twice in a row. I'm an expert now. Go through everything again, guys, so they know. And let me put up the
Go ahead,
Shucks
Frankie.
the Shucks banner again, and then the information on the Shucks banner, and let's go for it. Okay, guys, let me know what that is. Let's go. Let's do it.
Go ahead, Frankie.
All right. That's the New Zealand lamb chops. Those are cut fresh every day, grilled to order. And that is our seafood Benedict. Poached eggs on top of a seafood salad, topped with the hollandaise sauce. And then that is our Oyster Royale. Oysters on the half shell, topped with garlic butter, Parmesan cheese, and crab meat. And then broiled. And then that is our Cajun jambalaya pasta, where you can always also get it with white rice. That has andouille sausage, cod, crawfish, and of course the Trinity, which is peppers, celery, onion sauteed. And then that's our classic steak and crab, served with 8 ounces of snow crab and half a pound flat iron steak. And then this is our bucket of crab. We have snow crab and the Dungeness crab not shown, and then is also served with your choice of spices, traditional Old Bay, garlic, barbecue, lemon pepper. That's the tuna tartare, topped with avocado, crab meat, and a balsamic glaze drizzle on top.
Excellent. That's good stuff. That's good
We have
stuff.
everything from Philly cheesesteak all the way to crab legs to fish fry to just a regular Shucks burger. So if you don't like seafood, we have the stuff for the non-seafood lovers also.
Right. And
We sell
what
a lot
menu.
of burgers. A lot of
And-
burgers. It's all you have to have on your menu sometimes. You can have all the fancy stuff in the world. Sometimes you just want to have a nice, big, fat, juicy burger, and we have that too with all kinds of toppings on it as well. And with fingers and wings and all the, the typical tavern style food that you would come to enjoy in the atmosphere that we provide for everybody. And it's a big menu, and it's offered 24 hours. You can get it anytime you want.
Wow. A lot of people don't do that.
No.
You know, a lot of people don't do that. And I know
Yeah.
it depends on the ergonomics of the kitchen and all that, but still,
Right.
a lot of people don't do that. Now, let me ask you guys something, okay? You guys have been in business a long time, okay? Did any of you ever come across in your time frame maybe a celebrity that walked into your establishment, or somebody strange that walked in your establishment that is a story that you guys can tell? It doesn't have to be G-rated, but you know what I mean?
Oh.
Something that happened that you guys can remember that, hey, you know what? Frank Thomas walked in. He's a cool guy. Something like that. You guys have any stories like that?
Joe Jackson used to come in, Michael Jackson's father. He was
Okay.
a pretty quiet guy. He would come in and have clam chowder, wouldn't really talk. And then also Kobe Bryant's dad comes in. He picks up fish and chips to go all the time.
Right.
But I don't know how close they were together. But yeah, he still comes in, and he's a big, tall, skinny guy. And they always get fish and chips to go.
That's great.
OJ, I heard OJ was in. I haven't seen him.
OJ came down and sat next to me. I was having lunch, and he had another buddy with him, and he's actually a really big guy.
Yeah.
He came in, and I just went, whoa, and I looked, and yeah, it was him. He sat there next to me for a little bit. I didn't say anything to him. He talked to the bartender, had a nice lunch, and left. Jonathan Ogden lives here in town. Him and his parents would always come in to the Shucks we had over on the east side back in the day, and that guy would just fill the doorway. He would come in. He was like 6'8", just one of the biggest guys. I used to get a lot of celebrities at the Tillerman back in the day. Jerry Lewis was a regular. Liberace was a regular. Liberace and I had the same birthday, so he would sit down and we would always chat. You remember all those guys? Everybody came into that place back in the day.
And then when we had the Redstone Grill back in 2006,
Right.
David Hasselhoff came in on Graveyard, and he was drooling over
Was he
his
okay?
food, right?
That was you guys?
And then
You guys did Redstone Grill?
no, that was
Yeah.
that was before, because 3 days later his daughter filmed him eating it off the carpet, and I go, he just did that at Redstone a week prior. So
Wow.
I guess it wasn't the first time it's happened.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
As far as
That's amazing.
crazy stuff, regular stuff, you never know what's going to walk in the door 24/7, you know, but, you know, we've seen a lot. We've seen all kinds of people and families and everything else too. So, yeah.
Well, this is great. This is great. I'm very happy you guys came on, and we're gonna do it again. You know, with your other restaurant, Montana, for sure. You know,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be pretty much similar. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be the same customer service. Look at that. Who's that?
Who's that?
It's one of the referees from the box.
Who's
I
it?
forgot the name.
Was he a boxer?
Boxing referee.
Yeah, the boxing referee.
Oh, a boxing referee. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get all the big famous people in.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. So you guys never dealt with Mayweather or his dad or anything?
Yeah. Oh, he's been around. He was in line at the bank with Scott one day, unloading whatever cash he has, because he's not shy. You know
No.
that.
No, not
And
at all.
He's chirping in line at Scott. My deposit's bigger than your deposit. I mean, he you know, he's a nut. Mayweather is just who Mayweather is. Yeah.
Well, great guys. I really appreciate
buddy.
you guys coming on. It's fantastic. We're going to do it again. Again, everybody who doesn't know about this place, it is a hidden gem, okay? It's Shucks Tavern Oyster Bar, 7155 North Durango Drive. There's a phone number. I mean, and they have one on West Flamingo there, 9038. And there's shuckstaverns.com. Find out anything about it you need to. You got the menus online. Guys, it's worth going. It's a good place. I know them personally. All these guys are good. They're great at what they do. You guys will be very happy. I'm sure you would. And guys, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you. You're welcome anytime
Thanks,
on
Jimmy.
TV Live, okay? Definitely.
Thanks, Jimmy. Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Jimmy.
We'll talk soon. Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay. See you later.
Talk to you later,
Bye,
guys. Bye-bye.
Right.